Peace reflections. Hit the like and subscribe button. Hit the follow button. You are over here with Tarethia, and we are here for another decoding video. Okay, now let's talk about the magician Moses. Yes, you see the title reflection. We are here talking about the magician Moses, and I actually want to read this little excerpt, and I want to actually come and we're going to talk about it. Reflection. Okay. Now, with that being said, everything over here is for educational purposes only. Definitely go and do your own research. Reflection, remember, I am just here to bring information to you. It is up to you to go and decode the information for yourself. Okay, remember, everybody has their own pace on this journey. Okay, so with that being said, reflection, I definitely want to put that out there and keep that in mind. Now that we have that out of the way, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the follow button, depending on which platform you are on, because you never want to miss out on another video. Okay. Now, tonight or today, whenever you hit this video, we are talking about the magician Moses. Okay. We are talking about the magician Moses. Now, we all have heard of Moses in the Bible, but reflection, we've heard of all the things that Moses did, but no one never stopped to think these are all forms of magic. The burning bush and parting the sea and different things like that. That sounds like magic to me, reflection. What do you think? Does that sound like magic to you? And if so, where did Moses learn all of this magic from? Okay, that is what we are talking about tonight. All right. So, with that being said, I'm not here to waste your time. Let's get started. Okay. It says, with all the sophisticated magical practices, it's no mystery that Egypt became known among other nations of the time as a land of magicians and sorcerers. Now, Hebrew, Greek, and Roman writers describe at length the Egyptians' talent for magic and referred to them as the possessors of power beyond the conception of human imagination. Okay. So, they actually said, reflection, that Egypt was known as the land of magicians and sorcerers. That's what Egypt was actually described as. So it a lot of people would actually go to Egypt, reflection, to learn sorcery. All right. So let's keep it going. It says the Hebrews boasted accidentally, though, that Moses, the lawgiver, was a high initiate in the Egyptian mysteries. Because Moses was raised as a loyal prince in the court of pharaohs, it is most likely that the claim of the Hebrews was based on solid grounds. It is no secret that the princes of Egypt were highly initiated in magic and sorcery, and the ordeals they had to undergo to be accepted as members of the priestly caste were terrifying. None but the bravest could invoke a demon and not faint when the fearful creature made its appearance. So, what do you think about that, reflection? The initiation process was so brutal and terrifying, reflection, that some of them would actually faint during the initiation process. Okay. Now, think about that. They actually said that Moses was actually a part, reflection, he was a part of this Egyptian mystery schools. He actually went to Egypt and learned sorcery from the Egyptians out of these mystery schools. What do you think about that, reflection? What do you think about that? All right, hit the like and subscribe button. We're over here talking about the magician Moses and how he went to Egypt to learn sorcery. All right. Now it says that the magical powers of Moses was undeniable. A man who could turn a stick into a snake and the snake back into a stick had to know his magic. This feat incidentally had been performed in the East since ancient times, and it is actually still being performed in India. So this isn't anything new, reflection. This is a trick that actually can be performed. A lot of people in India actually perform this to this day, reflection. Okay, so let's keep it going. It actually says that his sleight of his hand with the snake was by no means the only trick Moses had up his sleeve. Turning the waters of the Nile into blood and bringing on a plague of locusts were also a part of his bags of a trick. Okay, his bag of tricks. Perhaps the secret of Moses' power over Egyptian magicians was the rod of power that he had possessed. Okay, now this particular rod was actually a symbol of magical power in Egypt. All right, so that rod that he actually had, reflection, that you see in his hand, that comes from the Egyptians mystery school. Okay, that was also known as a rod of power. Now it actually says that the person that was holding the rod reflection, the vibrations of that person would actually increase the vibrations of the rod, so the rod would be more powerful. The higher the person who's holding the rod vibration is, the more powerful the rod is. Reflections. Okay, and he learned all of this in Egypt. All right, so let's keep it going. Now it actually says that this rod, a symbol of the magical power of Egyptian magicians, was charged with the personal vibrations of its owner. The greater the power of the magician, the more powerful his rod would be. Thus, it seems obvious that Moses had more magical power at his disposal than those who taught him his magical arts. It must have been a source of deep regret to the Egyptian priestly caste that they had taught Moses all that they knew, only to have him turn their teachings against them. Okay, reflection. So, all good magicians know, never teach everything you know. This goes back all the way to the story of Moses. Reflection. But what a lot of people didn't know about Moses, reflection, is he learned a lot of that from the Egyptians. Reflection. He learned a lot of that from the Egyptians. Remember, the Egypt was actually known as the land of magicians and sorcery. Okay, a lot of people would actually go over their reflections. The Greeks, the Romans, the Hebrew, they would all go over their reflection to actually learn from them. Okay, so what do you think about their reflection? What do you think about that? And a lot of people would go over their reflection. They would have to study years upon years. They just didn't go over there and get the knowledge. You would have to remember, they said the process of initiation was so brutal and terrifying. Most people fainted throughout the process. They didn't even make it through the process. Reflection. So knowledge was very sacred to the Egyptians. Okay. And now you can see why, because they taught Moses everything they knew, only for Moses to use everything they taught him against them. Okay, so every good magician knows, never teach everything you know. Okay, until next time, reflection. Ashe.